let's talk about the 4 things we learned after watching the 688 on Netflix. Hi! I'm Persia.
I'm Telly.
And we are the HercastleGirls.
Hello.
Welcome to our channel. If you like videos about entertainment, pop culture, fashion, lifestyle, this is the channel for you. You go ahead and you hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this conversation.
Yes.
During the Christmas holidays, we were watching a lot of Netflix. So today we're talking about the 688. Now the 688 has been kind of on the radar for a while.
It has.
Because it's been highly anticipated. For those that don't know what the film is about, during World War II, 855 women joined the fight to fix the 3-year backlog of undelivered mail.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Faced with discrimination and a country devastated by war, they managed to sort more than 17 million pieces of mail ahead of time.
That's incredible.
There's so much to learn from this film, but first we'll just chat a bit about who's in it, what we thought of it, all of that stuff. Kerry Washington, of course, is one of the lead characters, Major Adams, and then we have Ebony Obsidian, who is in that show Sisters on BET.
Yeah.
She stars in the film as Lena Detroit King. And let me tell you.
Man. Wow.
Incredible. The acting from everyone in this film, and it's a stellar cast.
Yeah.
If you love to watch kind of character development, this
is the film you should be watching.
Yes.
Absolutely. The cast is incredible.
The cast is incredible. The story is a true story, so the story is very compelling. But one of the biggest things about this film is the script, direction. It was all done
by none other than
Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, who...
Okay, Tyler.
You know, he saved the best for last
for
2024. I know a lot of us were questioning what was going on over at Tyler Perry Studios.
A lot of questions.
A lot of us were wondering, does he hate black women or what is happening? But he's redeemed himself with this film.
He has. Going into it, you know it's based on a true story, but there have been things where sometimes directors, writers want to change up the script or change up how things actually went. Like they might be inspired by an actual story, but then put out something completely different.
Right.
So when we first heard that he was the one behind it, you're kind of thinking, oh Lord.
We saw Mia Kupla again. We saw Divorce in the Black.
Oh Lord. And Beauty in Black.
Beauty in Black. And these films, people started to question, can Tyler Perry make a film that's
what's the word? Inspiring,
Oscar worthy.
Yeah, other than just being a joke, being funny like Medea. Yeah. We know he can do comedy, so we get that.
Right.
But it's clear that he was trying to reach for a more serious, movies. He was trying that with Mia Kupla and Divorce in the Black and it was just miss after miss after miss. It just was not connecting. People were just like, we saw it, Car. Like people were saying, boycott. Like that's how
people started saying we should stop giving our eyes to his films.
His work. Yeah.
Because it was giving him clout to say that, well, my movie's the #1 movie on Netflix when everyone actually hates it.
Yeah. I think people were just watching it because it got so much bad reviews. It was #1 because people just said, okay, well, let's see how bad it is.
Because everyone wants to see how bad it is.
They'd watch it and they'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it. But Tyler, you have redeemed yourself. Congratulations. He did that.
Congratulations.
He did it. He stuck to the script.
Every young black actor, this is the film that you wanted to be in.
Oh, absolutely.
This was the film you wanted to be in. Even the timing and how everything moves along. It's a love story that becomes a story of perseverance, that becomes a story of survival.
Yeah.
And that brings us into the things that we learned, of course, watching the film. If you haven't seen it yet, this will inspire you to press play on this flick. So one of the things that we learned from this film is the theme of perseverance.
Whew,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the 688, and they're faced by many challenges. So 855 women were in the army. They decided we're going into the army as black women because we want to help our country. We want to fight for our country. They go through training. It's brutal. And a lot of these women, if they weren't, you know, housewives, they were in university, right? You know, they were well within their, you know, situation, right? They were well-to-do, they were educated, they were smart. The hope was that they would go and get, like, you know, like a corporate job, like as a receptionist or something in administration. But they joined the army, they go through it, they go through the trenches, they go through the boot camp, all of that tough stuff.
Yeah, they were not easy on them.
They were not.
That's because they're women. Doesn't mean that
Kerry Washington.
Yeah, she
don't mess with.
Don't mess with her. Do not mess with Kerry Washington / Major Adams. Do not.
Even through all of this, even after doing well and proving themselves, they still had to go through it because all of their counterparts, which were usually white men. They were continuously reminded that they could not do things based on their race and based on their gender. So there was racism, sexism, grueling work conditions. When they had to work on delivering all this mail, they were given the worst circumstances. They were put into buildings that should have been, like, demolished with no heat in Scotland.
And it was infested with rats. This is like the birth, honestly, of black women when it comes to perseverance and literally mental strength. Because if this was to happen today, we'd all be bawling in the corner saying, yo, I want to go home.
Oh, for sure.
Tap out. Let's cut it right here. We're done. But these women, and they could have done that. Because you know what? I'm going back to Chicago or back to the South, wherever they all came from, and went right back to their normal lives. But they were like, you know what? No. Someone has to go through this so that the women coming after us don't have to. Let's be pure hand claps for this entire video.
Let me remind you, right? Let's remind you of the challenge. 17 million pieces of mail, a backlog of over 3 years of mail that was supposed to go to soldiers that are fighting in the trenches. They have mail that they're trying to send to their loved ones that haven't gotten there yet simply because of that backlog. So we have a bunch of people fighting a war with no morale, with no encouragement, with no love letters, with no "I got you, my friend" letters.
Nothing encouraging or inspiring to even give them some hope.
So they're fighting with no hope. And then you bring in these women, you give them on paper, it seemed impossible.
It did.
Sort through all of this mail, get everything delivered, and you have 6 months.
17 million pieces of mail in less than 90 days.
I have to go back and check, but if we're wrong, then we'll put it here.
Yeah, we'll put it there, but I gotta watch the film. The systems that they created, after being told that they can't read,
they were told they couldn't read, they couldn't write, they weren't educated enough.
Thank you.
But they figured out codes and things that soldiers had put in the mail so that they knew where the mail was supposed to go. They figured this out all on their own. No one was helping them.
No. Well, they were set.
They were set up.
They were set up to fail. Yes. They were set up to fail.
Yes, they were.
And to be honest with you, anyone would have thought they're not going to make it.
There were no computers. There was no laptop. There was no chat GPT.
That's important to mention as well.
There was no method of, well, how do you sort through 17 million pieces of mail? There was no method. They were inventing it as they went along.
Like, think about it. This is 1940s. So there was no TikTok.
They're trying to make themselves comfortable in this building that's falling apart with no heat.
Which they did.
It's a reminder how women truly know how to make any house into a home, regardless of the circumstances. Another theme from this film, of course, is sisterhood. As much as I love our reality shows, we do live in a world where women are kind of put up against each other and put up to fight and not work together. The misconception is that women cannot work together. Women are always at each other. But in this film, God, if you want to see a film about sisterhood and togetherness as women,
watch this film. Even when some of them would get like, you know, a little antsy with each other, it would die out quick. Like there was no grudges being held.
Yeah.
There was nothing like, you know, things happening days and days and trying to like get back at someone. When something did happen, they would just figure it out and be done with it at the same time. Like they weren't wasting precious time on their petty little arguments.
Yeah, it's the constant reminder of, you know, we are here for a purpose.
Yeah.
And if something is not helping us get to our goal, get to our purpose, we're gonna stop it right now.
Yeah,
Other thing that I loved with Major Adams, Kerry Washington's character, who you end up just loving by the end of the film.
Absolutely.
She is so, God, such a great character. You need to watch the movie.
Yeah, she is. She really is.
Major Adams saw potential in each one of her girls.
Yes, she did.
She never doubted them. Even the one that was giving the most trouble, played by Ebony, her name was Lena. You really thought she wasn't going to make it. She was struggling hard with the physicalities of being in the army. But Major Adams, believed in her to the point where she would get down on her and she'd be hard on her, but it was for her own good.
It was for her own good. And it's funny because it's almost like tough love, which is lacking a lot in our society, but that's a whole other video. Where it's like, you know what? You know, I'm going to push you so hard that you're going to try to prove me wrong. So, you know what? I'm tired of you pushing me around. Just to get you off my back, I'm going to show you that I can do it. It's like a reverse psychology kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she did with Lena. Lena, when you first see the film, Lena is a delicate flower. My girl is getting driven and loves fancy car. Her hair is done so neatly. She's so eloquent. She's a beautiful girl. And she's just living her life, doing her thing. Something happens where she feels inspired now to join this army.
Yes, and that's the whole love story aspect of it.
Right. And even through that, when she wanted to give up, because of that love story, it inspired her to just keep going.
Yeah.
And you could see that she was just wishing that Major Adams was for her, because she thought that Major Adams didn't like her.
Right.
And a lot of people, especially women, we always feel if someone is harder on you, you want to give up because like, oh, that person doesn't like me. They said things that I didn't like, that I don't like the tone of their voice. But you have no idea that they're trying to show that they love you by being a little more harder on you, which I know could be taken as a way of, oh, well, that's, you know, something like bad. Take it as you want to take it. But in this scenario, Major Adams is saying, listen, I believe in you so much. You just need someone to finally push you out the gate.
Yeah,
the sisterhood was really strong in this film.
The sisterhood story is so good.
Yeah.
Another reason to watch it.
You should watch it.
Another thing that we want to mention is the contribution to the war effort that women of color, black women, had made.
Yes.
And this film really delves deeply into that. They basically showed the world that black women can contribute to this fight too.
Yes, we can.
Women can contribute to this fight, and we can help you win. Okay, you can only be a maid.
Right.
You know, you can only be a housekeeper.
Yeah.
But you can be in a different country.
Yep.
Where the language might be different, the cultures may be different, and you can contribute to a team winning.
Yes, you can.
And this story contributes to why black women started not only showing up in the army to just show face, but they were showing up and making a difference.
Despite everyone like hounding on them about their skin tone, being a woman, being in a foreign country they've never been to before, despite all of that, they were able to take all the insults and all the horrible things that were said upon them and put them somewhere else.
Yes.
And you know what? I'll deal with these insults later.
And there were lots of lessons around that too.
So many lessons. Even how they handled getting these ridicules.
You need to watch the film to see how they did that, because the reality of life is you need to know how to do that.
You do. It's a tough reality, but as long as you're this skin color, it's a tool that you need to know, and you should have in your toolkit.
Yeah, you need to know how to march even when people are against you.
Yep.
And in this film, they would march even when everyone was against them.
That's right.
We're living in a time right now where these stories that we never got to hear are now showing up. You know, with Masters of the Air, we saw the brave men, you know, white and black, that were prisoners of war, that were freed in a way to tell their stories even to this generation. The stories that we get to hear now about all these battles, it goes so much deeper than our history books did back in the day, right? Like we have Masters of the Air,
girl,
you know, where we saw both black and white men fight, you know, in the air. These are stories that we never heard.
No.
Stories that we were never taught. And now we have this story of these women who were put to the test.
Were they ever?
Put to the test, told that they weren't going to do it.
Oh, gosh.
And they, you know, not to spoil it for you, but they're victorious.
Living in a generation now where we're all kind of spoiled. Like, the stuff that was happening back then, to bring those issues to now, none of us would make it. We would be like, you know, we'd just reach 10, there'd be a war right now, if you don't mind sharp. Like, watching that, you think to how your reality is now, and you say, you know what? Thank you that I was not around during those times. Aside from even just the racism, just the way of life.
The way of life.
I'm just like, how?
Yeah, there was no, you know, there was no
the simple things of
movements or initiatives. There was no Me Too movement. There was no inclusiveness. There was no equality.
No, healthcare. Things that are easy day surgeries now.
Right.
Where a person would have probably passed away from those simple surgeries that could have been done now. They've been passed away back then. Right. These films, I hope that they continue to come out, because we're living in a time now where they're being threatened. You know, they want to take it out of school books. They want to take it off of the radar so people think that it never happened.
Right.
So to know that these things are documented in cinema, thank you. And hopefully they're never abandoned in cinema either.
We have to give kudos, of course, to Tyler Perry and all of the stars of the film.
Yeah.
From the black women that were in that set of the 6888.
Yes.
To even the soldiers that were played in the film. Everyone, it was
fantastic.
You really fall into this film and you're immersed into it. Let us know if you've watched this film. What do you think of it? Do you think Tyler Perry has redeemed himself by putting this film out?
Right.
And did you notice, if you watched it, all of the stars that are in here? Because we're not even revealing everyone that's in here. There are some really big names that
it's like,
make little cameos in this film as well. So go ahead.
Go ahead and watch.
Watch. Let us know what you think down in the comments below.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having us share with you our thoughts and what we learned during this incredible film. Like Car said, leave your thoughts and your comments down below. And when maybe you've learned something as well that you want to add to what we learned, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much again. Follow us. We're all over social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Same name, HercastleGirls.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.